at a local Stillwater neighborhood, and behind me is the scene that we see in a lot of neighborhoods with a retention pond. Not only do retention ponds add a nice aesthetic value to the people in that neighborhood, but they also serve a functional purpose, and that's to slow down water and capture it from surrounding areas. Now, as we all know, water eventually runs downhill. Today we're looking at a project where the landscape architecture class collaborated with this homeowners association to come up with creative solutions to slow down water and prevent erosion.
I'm the president of the Lakeview Village Homeowners Association, and one of the wonderful things about our neighborhood is this beautiful pond. However, it's a flood retention pond, and so we are responsible to the city of Stillwater about the storm runoff that comes through our spillway and goes directly into Boomer Lake. And therefore, we have to maintain it so that we can control what is feeding into Boomer. As you can see, the erosion from 30-some years of storms rushing through there has kind of taken the earth under and around both sides of the concrete spillway that we have. So we've been trying to decide whether we need to replace the concrete with edges, similar to what the city's done in several of their storm runoff areas, and or marry that with a rain garden that could perhaps go from this bridge onto Boomer Lake. But we literally are not experts in this field. So we contacted the Department of Horticulture, and particularly the folks in landscape architecture, about a rain garden plan that could possibly add to our knowledge about whether or not that was feasible for our HOA. We're connected with Professor Ching.
My name is Ching Lana Luo. I am a landscape architecture faculty member at OSU Landscape Architecture program. I'm also an extension specialist at OSU. The class title is LA 3894 4-credit hour class. It's a construction class, sustainable construction specifically for landscape architecture. And the class is usually for the second year landscape architecture students. And the overall goal for this class is for students to have a systematic body of knowledge about sustainable design.
And she and her class did a study of our challenges. We met with them in very early February for a site visit and laid out the challenges that we think we're facing.
So we started our project meeting the clients and going to the site, doing an actual site visit, and we discussed with one of the leaders on the HOA, the Homeowners Association. We talked to them about what their needs were and what they really wanted to get from this project. And one of the challenges that the HOA gave us is that they said that the city requires them to produce cleaner water from their pond as it goes into Boomer Lake. And so our challenge was to create rain gardens along that channel that could easily clean and hold a lot of water instead of just sending fertilizer straight into the lake. And so that was our goal, was to create a waterway that would clean the water and also beautify the neighborhood.
And then on February 18th, we got a chance to Zoom with them, thanks to the pandemic, to hear their presentations, 8 different presentations, and I cannot emphasize enough different presentations. We were really impressed by the variety and the creativity of the students. And because they are a class in landscape architecture, they were also focused on how to make it a beautiful space that people could enjoy. The studies they did on the volume of water that their various plans could handle, and ways to slow down the flow as it comes through, because the velocity is as much an issue as the volume.
So the technical steps, once we got back to our studio in Ag Hall, was to do a site analysis, essentially just documenting and rendering some kind of graphic to show where things are on the site, where water moves from, where there's more sunlight and where there's less, and also where there's physical obstacles and man-made obstacles such as a bridge or a drainage pipe that just can't be removed because it's too expensive. And then after that, we start looking for our inspiration, and we start choosing programs to develop a list of destinations and things we want to see in our site and in our design. So after we start developing a design, we start rendering it, and we start with a rough master plan, just doing loose concepts, and then it gets chiseled down to a much more efficient model. And then after that, we do some things called like section cuts or elevations to show the physical changes, to really get down from you start very broad and you head straight down into very technical and how high you want things to be and what you want to physically be in each place. And then I think that the last part of this project was that we chose what plants were going where, and that was the most detailed part of the project that we've had so far.
So we learned a lot about capacity to deflect velocity and volumes of water. We learned a lot about different approaches. At one point we had thought we kind of have an abundance of liriope and mondo grass in some of our common areas, and we had hoped that maybe we could just transplant it and call it a rain garden. Well, you know, the students kind of disabused us of that notion, because having all one type of plant is probably not smart, because you're going to have wet years, cold years, dry years, whatever, and you need some variety to survive the varieties of Oklahoma weather. And then as we've learned this spring, as we're fighting weeds that have grown up in our liriope, do we really want to transplant that problem from our common beds to our spillway?
Probably my favorite part of this project was the plant selection, because there is such a wide variety and diversity of plant species that you could choose, and it's just a very fun part of the project to choose exactly what things are going to look like specifically, and also how they're going to benefit the area.
So what we feel like we need to do now is get some professional guidance. We need somebody that can help us write bid specs so that we can figure out, do we need, you know, when you contact a structural engineer, they think concrete solves all problems. You know, when you contact the landscape architect, they think plantings can solve a lot of problems. So we need somebody that can kind of walk us down the middle, not only for the cost of installation, but the cost of maintenance and the durability of maintenance on down the road. So stewardship is really our responsibility as the HOA board. In my work with various nonprofits over the last 30 years in Stillwater, I've worked with countless student groups in everything from, you know, marketing to campaign planning to architectural things to this one on landscape architecture. And I always feel like it's a really good experience, because you get out of the box ideas, things that you might not have thought of. And you get the benefit of, you know, not only their research, but also their exuberance.
So students eventually, they will face the real world in their very, very near future. And that these type of projects prepare them to know a problem in the real situated location with the real client behind it, so they can have a communication with the client, and then they need to practice, do a presentation in front of the client. They need to practice the communication skills, asking them questions and getting their insights, getting their vision before they could propose their own design. And this is what all of them are going to do once they graduate. They will face all of these challenges: real site, real people, real client, real community. So this is a sustainable design class, right? And so all the concepts and theories are forward-looking issues that could be taught to students and that benefit students' future, but also by collaborating or helping the communities to solve some real-world problem that will benefit the community, to help them get some brainstormed ideas of various ideas. Sometimes they don't know what to do, and they don't know how many design outlets or proposals there could be. And then by providing various concepts to the community and just kind of give them a lot of well thought out ideas for them to proceed as well.
You know, we got some really interesting ideas that are going to address our issues about, you know, velocity and controlling the flow of water and erosion and those kinds of things. So I think it was a very valuable experience.
And in this process, we are very, very grateful to be collaborating with Casey Henges, Oklahoma Gardening Show. And with this opportunity, we're able to disseminate all this to a broader audience. If you're interested in knowing more about landscape architecture major at OSU, please visit our website.
Hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. You can also find even more videos on our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.